Welcome to the Sunday Mindset Session. Luke Moroney here, Tony Meredith over there. He's got the pink shirt on today. He's rocking and rolling with his femininity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a word?
Yeah, of course it's a word. It's a word. very, very comfortable in the pink.
I'm okay with the mindset.
Love the pink. Straight on. Mum, Catherine, hello. How are you?
How are you, Mum?
He's still here.
You're terrible.
He's still here.
You're terrible. Well, we really want to talk about overcoming your fears today. It is on the theme of Halloween. People are fearful about what's going on in those dark, those scary times.
Spooky terror. Yeah, absolutely.
What did you do before, Daddy?
Scared. Ooh, terror.
Sean says good morning. Good morning to you all, and it's an important one, right? We're here right now on this very active walking path, running path, biking path, and it might be fearful for people to be out there speaking in public like this and being looked at, being judged. So this might be a fear factor for you. So John says morning all.
G'day John, how are you? Not a fear factor for us. Wanting to get the crowds actually. So out and about, wanting to add a bit of value on a Sunday morning. We've got the markets just over here. In fact, when we saw the markets, what did you say? We should get a stall. We should get our own stall. We should have our own mindset stall.
Mindset stall. That would be good. Just film it all the way through. Kelly says good morning to you. Good morning, Kelly. Should
Hello,
be on as
Kelly.
well. Mum says she's great. Any fears, Mum? Any fears? What are your fears?
I reckon.
Okay, so anyone, if you want to put out what your fear is, what is that deep-seated fear that you have within yourself, we'd love to hear about it. Maybe we can, touch on that a little bit as well. Gabby, good to have you on. Definitely a fear of mine, public speaking.
Okay, interesting.
So,
all right, no, got it. I reckon one of your mum's fears is that you're not coming home. Is that you're going to be a Queenslander? Catherine, would that be right?
Oh, jeez. Look at he's just stirring the pot. Stirring the pot.
You know what, it's nice that I can get a little bit of my own back because I do recall I get, the pot is stirred about me most weeks, so it's lovely to, not even the ledger, but at least get a little bit back.
That's right. So, Tony, if you think about overcoming fears, what are some of the things that sort of pop up to you?
Yeah, see, I was bang on.
That you might decide to stay in Queensland.
I knew, Catherine. I knew that's what one of the fears were. I knew it. There you go. I wasn't trying to be half smart at all. I knew that's what Mum would be thinking.
She wants the golden child back.
I'll let her comment on that.
My siblings actually talk about that as well.
Oh, are you the golden child, are you?
Well, apparently.
Are you the youngest?
No, I'm second in line.
You're in the middle.
I'm second in line.
Second in line.
They're probably not watching, so it's okay.
No, but it'll be recorded. They'll be able to see it at a later date.
Yes, Tony, stir, get in early and get a bit back.
100%. Get on the front foot. Tony Gallagher, I'm with you, mate. Absolutely on the front foot this morning. I'm primed. I've had my coffee. I'm ready to go. Ken Murray's here. Hello, Ken.
Catherine's fear is Luke will come home.
Oh, the opposite. The worry.
Thanks, Kenny.
The worry
Great
that
support, buddy.
To make it back home.
Oh, absolutely. It's an interesting one for all of us. Think about our fears. Want to know what your fears are? Dean Dawson, come on. I don't know Dean.
No, I know Dean. Dean's in there, New South Wales, a property developer doing good things. Good morning, Dean. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Probably first time on live. I don't remember seeing that name come up before.
No, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on. When you think about fears, what are some of the things that you think about? I know, Tony, that you've often talked about the things that we're born with is a fear of falling.
Well, there's two. So we're born with two fears. So one is the fear of loud noises, and the other is the fear of falling. So not the fear of heights, but the fear of falling. Every other fear that we have then acquired through whether it be parents. So our parents quite often put limiting beliefs on us. They might say that money is the root of all evil, for example. Don't talk to strangers. So there's a number of things that parents will say, and they're saying it because they're wanting to keep their child safe and do the right
security,
thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's where they're coming from. There would be experience that have happened in our lives. There would be, friends in the schoolyard. There would be news events. These are how all of the fears come about through all these various experiences. But the reality is that we only start with two of them. So everything else
is
that
bullshit.
You have, that's right, that you've made up. And so that's the opportunity. If you've made it up, you can unmake it.
Sorry,
and
Dean.
That's the opportunity.
Dean has been here before, but
knew that.
maybe we just haven't seen your name scroll on there, so my apologies, Dean. But, love to hear from the comments, and this is where Scott Kirby, good to have you on as well. John says, I was given a great example to think about. Imagine your child is in your position. What advice would you give to them? Then give it to yourself. Okay, that's the thing that we're often not thinking about for ourselves. What advice are we giving to ourselves? Are we looking in the mirror and looking at some of our fears in this example? And there's other areas of advice that we can give to ourselves, but are we looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, are we able to overcome our fears? And that might be a fear of public speaking. That might be a fear of putting yourself out there. That might be a fear of going up to introduce yourself to someone. I probably have that fear sometimes. I'm normally a really good communicator once I'm in the discussions, but that initial engagement for me is probably something that, it probably tends to hold me back a little bit as well.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting that is the case for you, because you're a wonderful communicator. You certainly put yourself out there. I've seen you in many settings, very generous with your advice, support, etc. So I find that interesting that is a fear for you.
Yeah, it's just something that's come up for me, and it's probably something, thinking about childhood and things like that. I think I, as a kid, was always one to ask why. Why does this? Why does that? And it probably annoyed a lot of people. Just a curious cat, right? And it just got me in a position that a lot of people were actually too annoyed with it, and that bred some of those limiting beliefs in my head. So, just asking those questions, and I think it comes up different times now where I ask why and want to understand a bit more, and people are like, well, stop asking why.
Yeah, I've got it. And so what is it that you're doing about it now? So you recognise that it's a fear for you. So what are you doing about it?
I'm pushing those barriers.
Yeah.
So if I'm in, networking sort of events, to make sure I'm, talking to myself or having that self-talk, which we're going to talk about later, of actually going to go introduce myself to a new person that I haven't met.
Good on you.
So it's just taking those one step at a time and then putting yourself out there more.
Yeah. So do you have a little goal before you go to the into the network meeting? You say, today I want to meet one new person or two new people, or
not necessarily. Okay. I think I just kind of like working with the flow. I do like to be present in conversations and build the relationship. And if I just meet one person through what was going on and it's a really good relationship, maybe that'll turn into something even better.
Yeah, okay.
But also just be mindful during those conversations to actually go separate myself from that conversation and then move on to another one.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
absolutely.
not without being, just like trying to flick myself around the room, but really just spending some time with people, but then just moving around to meet other people, to then work on myself more so than the actual network side of things, but really work on myself. And I think if you start working on yourself, then the money will come, the business will come. It's all that sort of thing, right?
Of
work
course.
on yourself, do things for yourself, and things will turn out.
Well, the other thing I want to say is that you go back to fears, right? And
G'day, Cuzzy Bernadette's come on as well.
John's comment around parents. That's the issue, is that parents are putting their own insecurities onto their kiddies. Their own fears. Maybe the parent's got a fear of public speaking. Maybe the parent's got a fear of, doing something that's, different, outside of the norm, uncomfortable. And so the parent will then push that particular fear onto the child. And so that's what we need to be very careful of as parents. I swear this is my first time, honestly. That you need to recognise that you want to let your kids live their own life and don't put your own insecurities onto them. This is why, as kids, as young kids, they keep doing stuff because they don't have any fears. They keep doing stuff. They fall down, they get up. They fall down, they get up. They go and meet new people. They go. They have no fear. They have no barrier around this. No terror barrier.
It's the overthinking thoughts.
Yeah, but whereas as you grow up, then all these things are coming at you: the news and parents and peers and experiences as well. Past experiences can cause fear. It's like, I'm not going to do that again because I lost money on that deal once before. And so there's a whole range of reasons where these fears come from. And so it's about...
Are you going to develop property again in the future?
I'm going to have a break. Well, let me get through this first. I'm going to have a break. So,
anyway, we won't get to that today. John says fears or bad habits. Absolutely. That's what Tony was talking about. The fear lays within the bad habit. How about start or stop them? Yeah, it's easy to say. It's a different one to put in practice. Sean says, my guess is that Tony's newest fear is ice cream shortages.
Well, certainly not not if I looked in my freezer at the moment, mate. We're all good. We will survive the Holocaust, quite frankly, at the moment. So we're all good.
Have you got a freezer in your garage just in case, stacked up?
Mate, dedicated just for ice cream. Just ice cream only. So
Is it like an ice cream cellar, like having a wine cellar? Is that the type of situation that you have?
Well, you know that I used to own an ice cream store, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so it's just
But you got to use the ice cream. You can't just let it sit there for years and years and years.
Well, the reason why I'm not in that business anymore is because I had my snout in the trough.
That's right.
So I wasn't selling any. But geez, it was fantastic. Sorry, mate.
There's more fears. Jeff says the way I look at it is that I aim to not put too much pressure. If it happens, it happens with talking to new folks. Otherwise, you come across as a bit needy and a weirdo.
Yeah.
But then that within that sentence there, think about it. He's thinking about what other people are thinking, right?
Correct.
And that's a fear of coming across as a bit needy, as a weirdo. So maybe, Jeff, there's something within you to actually say. Would you, if you're reading between those lines...
You took the words out of my mouth. So there's a couple of things I'd say to that. So one is that you could meet 100 people and come across needy and a bit weird if you come across a bit needy and a bit weird. So when you meet people with the give without expectation, doesn't matter if you meet one person or 1,000 people, give without expectation. So that would be the first thing I'd say. The other thing I've said to people in the past, this is why I asked you about did you have a goal for yourself, is I've dealt with a number of people who have anxiety around network meetings and the like, and I say to them, just set yourself a little task, set yourself a little task of meeting one new person. It doesn't mean you have to stay with that person for the next 4 hours. It's just meet one new person. Because again, we talk about the power of one. We talk about, hey, I'm really timid, or I'm really introverted, or whatever it is. Got it? I understand that. That's where you're at the moment. But in order to move yourself forward, your goal is to go and this person's goal was to get potential money partners. Well, you're not going to get those money partners sitting on the sideline. So it's about, so have a chat to one person, and now that particular person is off and racing and does amazing things. But we started with one. Right, and we talk about that all the time.
Hopefully, Jeff, that helps. It's a big one if you start those words that you're saying within that sentence is a big one for us. Tony and I instantly picked up on that thought process that you're sending out. So think about those words that you are using, because it is a reflection of actually what you're doing out there or what you're not doing in network situations where you're thinking that you are coming across as needy, you're coming across as weirdo. And maybe one person said it, but if you're being truly you, then not worrying about the judgment of others. Just go out and be you.
Well, the other is be careful what you say to yourself, because your mind's listening, always. And this is one of the big problems, is that we say these things, whether we say them out loud, whether we think them about ourselves, and our mind's listening, and our subconscious is picking up on all these sorts of things. So be yourself. You are who you are, and if others like you, terrific. And if others don't like you, hey, that's terrific as well. I say to people all the time,
zero fucks, right?
When I'm meeting new people, I say to them, go over to my YouTube site, check it all out, and if you like me, awesome. And if you don't like me, hey, that's awesome, because that's me being me, and I live a very incredibly light life because I'm being true to myself. So I think that's an opportunity for all
Sean
of us.
goes, the only fear that comes to mind for myself is not finding my way to quit smoking that actually works.
Well, what I'd say to that, Sean, is firstly...
Anthony, good to see you.
Thoughts become things. So instead of thinking about not finding a way to get out of it, flip that thinking to, how do I get out of it?
Solution
What can I do? Resourcefulness. Where else can I go? Is it hypnosis? Is it nicotine chewing? Again, I used to be a smoker 21 years ago, right? And I was very fortunate. I just gave up. I have the mental strength. When I want to do something, I do it. Ice cream, I'm happy to eat the ice cream at the moment. When I want to do something, I switch on and I do it. But not everyone's the same. So for you, it's about, think about what you want.
Test and try.
What you want is to give up the smoking. So where else do I go? What else can I do? Who else can I turn to? Who else has had success with particular strategies? Always be resourceful and relentless in your pursuit to overcome that.
Well, that's probably what people do lack when it comes to things like smoking, where there's an addiction attached to that. Why are you having that cigarette?
Yeah.
And then are you testing and trying all the different methods till you find something working for you? Are you, when you're thinking about having that cigarette, are you swapping it for something else? Is one form of test and try.
Correct. And do you really want to give up? Like I know that, and again, I'm going back, I had
Yeah,
my
if you
last
really
smoke
want
in 1999. And at that time, I really wanted to, like I was just, and I had plenty of false starts before. And so clearly, in hindsight, I didn't really want to give up. But when I gave up, I absolutely was committed to giving up. Nothing was going to get in my way, and I haven't had a cigarette in 21 plus years.
Great. Gabby says, Anthony and Pramila, good to have you on. This is a great session. As a parent, when I look to my kids to the When I took my kids to the dentist, I was terrified for them, but managed to hide it. They were fine. So you've got a fear when you're looking at your kids going to the dentist.
Well, no, Gabby's got the fear of the dentist, and a lot of people do, right? They've got the fear of the needles and all those sorts of things. So it's about recognising, and good on you, Gabby, not wanting to push your insecurities onto your kids, rather being brave for your kids. Because this is also about breaking the cycle. You know, so you may have your own set of fears, your own set of limiting beliefs, but it's about breaking the cycle. Do you really want to push that onto your kids? And have them
maybe you can actually learn from your kids.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, they're not thinking about the fears that you have. Maybe you can learn on it's like, well, what are they doing that you're not doing?
But this is the cycle of life, right? And so the cycle of life, you look at the kids and you look at, kids when they're learning to ride bikes, learning to walk or learning to ride bikes. It's like, I'm so determined to do this damn thing and I'm not giving up. And I've fallen over, but I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep going, and they're persistent. But then over the years, we get into our teenage years, we get into our adult years, and we lose all the things that we used to do.
That's why my mother's learning off me now.
Is that right?
I hope she's still on. Sean says stocked up already on ice cream. Well done. And Tony says, Jeff, that is an interesting belief. So Tony Gallagher is on board with what we were saying around it. Ken says, I have over 250 litres of ice cream to mix on hand. That equates to approximately 3,000 ice cream.
There you go. So if ever there was a shortage, I know where to go to instantaneously. So
and you've got a connection, right?
Yeah,
it's like-minded people.
Ken and I had a chat. We've had a chat.
You build relationships.
Yeah, 100%.
So it means that you should be able to get in before other people, right?
We have a common goal. We have a love of ice cream, right? So Ken and I we're ice cream brothers, you and I, Ken. So Sean has said, well done and quitted smoke. Thank you, mate. Look, to be honest, I don't...
If Tony can do it, Sean, you can do it.
I don't really think about it that often because, again, it was so long ago. It was a very different part of my life, like 21 years ago. But yeah, look, it's smoking. It could be losing weight. It could be whatever it is. It's all the same process. It's about getting committed to doing it. And
because what's an addiction really?
Well, and
it's a mindset thing. It's not the, I guess
it's a habit.
It is a habit.
It's a habit, and
it's not the actual drug or whatever it is, or that product. It's rather what's going on in your mind.
Yeah, but with cigarettes, there is a drug in there that does help facilitate that. That is part of it. So there's drugs in the cigarettes to cause the addiction. But then take, for example, using social media, using Instagram and Facebook, the addiction of getting a like, the addiction of that instant gratification. That's an addiction, right? There's no drug in that coming into your mind. That is the addiction of the endorphins racing off, and I feel amazing, and I want more of it, and I want more of it, and I want more of it. And now I'm putting my entire emotional state on something that's out of my control.